Hey, what's up, YouTube? Trucker Jules with you. Hope you guys are having a fantastic fucking night. So yeah, this is my 4th video, man, so far. You know, some of my last videos, I like to go off the rip, you know. I don't really plan shit out. I just kind of think of a topic and just go off the cuff with it, you know. Yeah, I feel like it's more, it sounds more like organic that way, if you know what I'm saying. But a con to that is I rewatched my last videos and I'd be forgetting to say shit, you know. So I'm gonna start, you know, just like jotting little things down here and there. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. So today I'm gonna be discussing trucking on the East Coast versus the West Coast. They both have their pros and cons. I've done both. I grew up in Massachusetts, lived there most of my life. I lived in California for 2.5 years. Did OTR out there. So, let me start by saying, another reason why I'm making this video too, I picked up 2 loads today in the outskirts of Boston. I picked up 1 load in Lynn and another load in Revere. And if you're familiar with those areas, they're not too truck friendly. Not at all. You know, the Massachusetts is where the country started, so I don't think the Pilgrims expected all these 80,000 pound behemoths on the road, you know. A lot of them are made for like horse and buggy and shit like that. So yeah, that was kind of like my inspiration to make the video, you know, because I started out trucking on the East Coast doing local, but I just started doing OTR on the East Coast just 3 months ago. I spent a year doing OTR on the West Coast, and I gotta say, man, the East Coast is a whole other animal. It's a whole other animal, man. The West Coast, everything's more modernized. You know, there's more room for everything. All the shippers and receivers are more new and truck friendly. The roads seem to be wider. 9 times out of 10 on the West Coast, there's always a shoulder on the road in case you break down or whatnot. And if you break down, say you break down on the East Coast, say on the George Washington Bridge in New York or the Sumner Tunnel in Boston, like, I don't even know what to tell your ass, honestly. You're stuck in the middle of the road, man, until the mechanic gets there. And the mechanic, tell you right now, he's not going to be too happy with you. You're going to be blocking a lane of traffic. There's going to be people beeping at you, you know. It's in the city, too. They might throw something at you. You know how New York and Boston is. But, yeah, man, so I've done both. And all I can really say is West Coast drivers, they have it made. But the West Coast also has its cons, you know. It's not all peaches and cream. You got the Rocky Mountains, you know. They have chain laws up there. When you're doing the mountain driving, you have to chain up your tires in the winter sometimes. A lot of the time in Colorado. My year doing OTR out there, I only had to chain up twice. But still, man, yeah, you got the mountains out there, so that's a con. But out here, you got roads that are made for horse and buggies. You know, so, but overall, West Coast is better. A lot of OTR drivers don't even like going to the East Coast. A lot of them refuse to go to New York. They refuse to go to Boston. And like I said, I started out doing local out of Massachusetts, so I went to New York all the time. I went all through Boston and whatnot, so someone's got to do it. I already know how to do it, so why not do it, you know? But, yeah, New York and Boston, they're definitely not truck friendly. A lot of low bridges, a lot of narrow roads, a lot of pissed off drivers. That's another thing too. Drivers on the West Coast, they're more, people help each other out there, you know, like they actually let you merge. They'll even give you a wave, like, yeah, come on, buddy. Not on the East Coast, man. Not on the East Coast. Driving on the East Coast is, I'm talking mostly New England and New York. The South isn't too bad, you know, but the Northeast, driving out there is like a war. I don't know how else to put it. LA's bad too, like Southern California. You got a lot of traffic, but it's different. You have more lanes out there. Like I said, people. Well, some places, you know, LA might be different. You know, it's kind of like a war there too, but at least like the roads are more truck friendly, modernized. There's not too many low bridges out there. Some tips I can say for the rookies: get yourself a Garmin Diesel and a Road Atlas. Especially if you're going to be going through the cities, man. Get yourself a Road Atlas. They come in handy. I have one somewhere. Yeah, get it real quick. Rand McNally Motor Carriers Road Atlas 2021. They make a new one every year. There's all kinds of shit in here, man. You know, where all the low bridges are, resources, even like construction and shit. It comes in handy, man. You can't rely on the GPS all the time. I've heard a lot of stories, just drivers, they fucking hit a bridge or go down a no trucking zone, and first thing they say is, well, that's where the GPS told me to go. You know, you can't rely on the GPS forever, man. Another con to the GPS is when you rely on the GPS all the time, you're not really like aware of your surroundings. You know, when I first started doing local out of Massachusetts, I didn't even use a GPS. I got my boss there, he's super old school, man. Hated GPSs. So what he did was he'd give me handwritten directions, and I'd literally read the directions as I'm driving, and second time I'd go there, I'd have it memorized. Sometimes I'd look back at it, especially when I was going through New York and whatnot. It's hard to memorize that shit, but yeah, so I'm kind of thankful for that. It made me like acknowledge the signs more. It gave me more of an understanding of my surroundings, you know. I got the GPS now. You gotta have GPS for OTR, but yeah, I was just going off handwritten directions at first. Boss was super old school, man. When I first started there, I'm like, yeah, I don't need those. I'll just get one of those trucker GPSs. And he's like, no, that'll get you in trouble. And he fucking pulls out a list of handwritten directions. His handwriting sucked too, man. Sometimes I could barely read the shit, but it always got me there. You know? And like I said, if you're doing OTR, get yourself a Garmin Diesel. If you're company doesn't supply GPSs. They're the best ones, man. Best ones, Garmin Diesel. But if you're going through a city or whatnot, get yourself one of these. This thing comes in handy, man. If you're going through New York or whatnot, it really comes in handy. They sell them at like every truck stop. So yeah, let's get back on topic. West Coast drivers, well, if you're doing all 48 or whatever, you know, but West Coast drivers have it made compared to the East Coast. But I happen to like the East Coast, man. I like the challenge. You know, you can only drive in the desert for so long. I like having a challenge every here and there. You know, driving through New York sometimes, especially if you don't know where you're going, man. It's like a roller coaster sometimes, man. It's just like you're so like nervous and you're like, just stay aware, man. Just stay aware. Just get yourself there safely. You know, if you have a super tight turn and fucking you have drivers that gotta move, man, just like wait for them to go by, wait till you have enough clearance and go. You know, you'll have people beeping at you and whatnot. Just screw them, you know, just get there safely, stay aware, and just watch your clearance. Especially, I keep bringing up fucking New York and Boston because I'm like traumatized right now after that fucking run. That shit was crazy. That shit was a force, man. That run was made for like box trucks, dude. Like I was like the only 53 footer I saw out there, man. I swear to God. Fuck Lynn. Fuck Revere. Shit. That was honestly worse than any New York experience I've ever had. The outskirts of Boston. But yeah, man. You know, if you're an OTR truck driver, odds are you'll see the West Coast and the East Coast. Just when you're on the East Coast, stay on your toes. You know, stay aware. Especially if you're not from there and you don't know what to expect. I'm not trying to scare you, you know, like it's not the end of the world if you're going to New York. But just, you know, do your trip planning, get yourself an atlas, you know, just cross your T's and dot your I's, you know, and you'll get there. If you're on the West Coast, you're chilling. Except in the winter, you know, if you're going through the Rockies in the winter, get yourself some chains, learn how to chain your tires. They have stations out there most of the times. They'll do it for you for like $15. But yeah, man. This is what happens when you go off the cuff, man. I don't have any more shit to tell you. But yeah. So those are the pros and cons of the East Coast and West Coast. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Keep trucking. Peace.